completely different whenever he's in there. You know, first day, yesterday, day one, he goes up, makes a check, big touchdown pass. You know, just something that, you know, he brings to the offense, knowledge, obviously athleticism, but, you know, he looks as good as ever on the sideline.
Have you been shouting a little bit out there? You're losing your voice already on day 2 of camp.
As coaches, we got to get our voice in shape as well. I'm not able to practice on my wife in the summer. So this is the first practice we've gotten yelling, but it's good. It's good for coaches and players, and something we look forward to. Been a good summer, but it feels great to be back on the field and get ready for the season.
Is it the deepest group of talented receivers that you've had?
Yeah, it has the potential to be, and that's something that we talk about. I mean, there's 8 guys right now that all have the potential to go play and be difference makers, and I don't think we've had obviously some very talented guys in the past, but this has the potential to be the deepest group we've had. And obviously we got a long way to go. A lot of that depends on the young guys' development, but it has a chance to be a special group.
Speaking of the young guys and their development, I didn't see any stalls today. Are you getting out there screaming at them about, you know, missed routes or missed assignments? It seems like they're picking it up pretty fast.
Yeah, that's one thing that's, you know, I've been real pleased with is the retention of the young guys. Usually that's the biggest thing for the young guys is knowing where to line up, what to do, the routes, the changes with the hots and all that. But, you know, really all those young guys have done a good job. And I think it also says a lot about our older guys, spending time with them this summer and the skills and drills when the coaches can't be out there. You know, Sharon Peak, Mike Williams, Artavis Scott, those are guys that really, I think, took those young guys under their wing starting in June. And, I mean, I can just tell going through our meeting, these guys already have a great foundation. And so I give those older guys a lot of credit, and the younger guys, really sharp guys and good football knowledge. That's something you don't really know on your young guys until they get here. It's really hard to tell in the recruiting process how quickly they'll pick those things up. But been very pleased with both of the young guys.
Coach Sweeney was talking about Travion Thompson. I was surprised how good he looked yesterday and today. Have you been surprised or impressed with how much he's developed?
Well, really, I saw that this spring, and I was very surprised and impressed this spring. He came out with a great attitude. I think he's had a great summer. Just physically, he looks really good. And there's times yesterday whenever I'm watching video and I'm trying to figure out if that's Mike Williams or Travion Thompson. And that's a good thing when you're sitting here and having to replay it to see which one. But he's gotten faster, stronger, more confident, and made a bunch of plays. Still has some development to go in the mental aspect, figuring it all out. But it's definitely a lot of good competition in the boundary with Mike Williams, Travion, and Dion. Those are 3 special guys, and so it keeps Mike on his toes every day, that's for sure.
You always hear coaches say guys can always get better. How much better can Mike Williams really get right now?
He can definitely get better. You know, he knows every guy has their, I mean, when DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy, and those guys were here, they had things they knew that they needed to improve on. It was probably going to take them to the next level to get there. You know, Mike, he's done a lot of things, but he knows specifically some of the things that he needs to improve in. And, you know, he's working on that, and I think the strength that he got this summer has really helped him become a more physical guy and a more physical presence for being a big body. And I've been pleased with what I've seen out of him the first 2 days. But, you know, he has the potential to be special, but still's got a good bit of work to go before he gets there.
Sharon is the best you've seen since he's been
Yeah, he is. I mean, you can tell just watching him walk by what he looks like physically. He's confident. He looks like he's running really well, and it's really added a lot because a lot of people obviously haven't been talking about him with the injury. But I mean, he's just another guy that has a chance to have a big year this year, and you know nobody wants it more than him and the coaches because he's been here 5 years, worked extremely hard, had some bad luck along the way, and I think he has a chance to come out and be very productive this year if he can stay healthy.
When a player has an ACL tear, isn't it natural to some extent for him to be timid even after he's green-lighted to play, just to avoid injury, to guard against it?
I think that was where he was a little bit last year. I don't sense that at all this year, but I think it probably for a lot of the skill guys, it takes a complete year mentally and physically to get out there. But you know, I think through the end of the fall last year, all the spring practice, and then I don't even think about him. When you mentioned that's the first time I thought about him really tearing his ACL, because I don't see it out there. He's running around and able to do everything that he could do before the injury.
But after 2 days, we're really anxious to get guys in at least shells and start seeing them do some hitting, especially the offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, offensive line, that's probably the hardest practices for them without any pads. It's a lot of assignment. You can see some athleticism, but it's really more about understanding the schemes. And now we get the pads on. That's going to be the true test for those guys. But we just talked after practice. I think they're looking forward to it. They're looking forward to putting on the pads. And I think it's a little bit tougher sometimes on the offensive linemen. In these first 2 days, and defensive guys can just run right through them. There's not a lot of pads for them to bang on. So it'll be interesting, and we'll know a lot more about that group here over the next few days.
Did you expect to see Ray to look so natural catching the ball? I'm sure he has a lot to learn as far as route running and so forth, but I haven't seen him drop anything yet. It seems like a natural at wide receiver. Yeah,
he's very smooth. We knew that in the recruiting process, that he was going to be a talented guy. What we didn't know is how quickly he could pick things up, and that's probably what I've been most impressed with. The athleticism really hasn't surprised me, but his knowledge, retention, and being able to go at the tempo we're going at was probably the most impressive thing from him and Dion so far.